all game. We are motivated. We are dedicated. Come on now. Come on now. We will win. We are the best on the field. And we hit the field like all day like all night like on the blue light, offense like defense like this squad like house call like and it sound like and it sound like and it sound like.
Welcome to the Short Sports Show. I'm your host, Daniel Short. Today is Friday, March 17th, and we got a great show for you guys. Lots of news to talk about, including 2 interviews with future NFL players, Jordan Moore from UTSA and Josh Popper of Rowan University. Big show for you guys. I'm excited. We're going to talk about, could there be a boycott in the Final Four this year? Yeah, that's right. It's a possibility, and I got my take on it. I'm ready for it. The Raiders this morning apparently are interested in Marshawn Lynch. Could we see a return in the beast mode going back to Oakland? Former Texas quarterbacks look to return to football. Is it too late though for them? It just might be too late. Also, some free agency notes. We got some college football news to talk about this morning. I'm just excited. I'm excited. I want to say thank you to everyone who shared and watched last week's episode. It was fun to make. I had a great time making it and showing it out to everyone who supported it on YouTube. And we just got a lot today that I'm excited for. And we're going to start it off, as always, with college football news. First, we got Florida quarterback Luke Del Rio. He is having surgery on his throwing shoulder this upcoming Wednesday. Jim McElwain says it's nothing major and that Del Rio is just getting his right shoulder cleaned out. Now, he had surgery on his left shoulder back in January and hasn't practiced, of course, throughout the winter and early spring. He has started 6 games last season, throwing for 1,300 yards, 8 touchdowns to 8 interceptions, and looking to become the starting quarterback for the Gators this fall. Now, something that's happening with some quarterbacks, I think it's just too late. Former Texas Longhorn quarterback David Ash is looking to make a return back to football. Now, here's the problem with it. He was given medical clearance. That's all great. The thing is, he hasn't played in over 2 years, and he retired due to several concussions, really bad concussions. He ended his playing career back in September of 2014. He was struggling with the symptoms of multiple concussions, and you're thinking, okay, David Ash, he's done. It sucks. It's sad. Maybe he goes into coaching, does something else. Now, with Texas Pro Day on March 28th, he says, you know what? I want to give it one more shot. So not only is he going to try out for a quarterback, doing the quarterback drills and whatnot, he's also going to try out as a punter. And hopefully that opens up to teams saying, look, I'm not going to get hit as much as if I was at quarterback. I don't know. It's a little too late to try to come back after 2 years and you retired because of concussions. Obviously, the league is looking to back away from any of that type of stuff. And I don't think any team is really going to give David Ash a shot now. He went 15-7 as a starter. He's not the only Texas quarterback making a return. Now, a couple weeks ago, Vince Young, obviously the big star of Texas, he signed with the CFL team, the Canadian Football League, Saskatchewan Roughriders. Now, he's there playing. He hasn't played since 2011 in a regular season game, and he retired back in 2014 with the Green Bay Packers after a preseason stint that really didn't go too well. These guys, someone's just got to tell them, look, enough's enough. It's over. Move on to something else, because it's just not going to work for them. And it sounds negative. I try not to be negative, but Vince Young, I think it's the CFL just giving him a shot. I think it's more just trying to sell tickets and just for the fun of it. I would be shocked if he even makes the team by mid-season. I would be shocked if he's still there. But it's just a little too late for these guys. A little too late for these guys to try to make a comeback. It's just, I don't know. It's something everybody should, go after their dreams, but you've got to surround yourself with people that just tell you the truth and say, look, it's just not going to work out. It's just, you're just going to waste your time. NFL draft prospect and former Michigan Wolverines cornerback Jordan Lewis pled not guilty to a misdemeanor charge of domestic violence in court Thursday afternoon. Now, prosecutors charged Lewis Wednesday after a fight with a woman believed to be his girlfriend around 1 a.m. on Wednesday. Lewis and his attorney declined to comment while leaving the courthouse. Now, the woman that said that she and Lewis had an argument and that he assaulted her at her apartment in Ann Arbor. Here's kind of the problem, though. And I'm not taking his side. I'm not taking any sides here. But the thing is, quote, there was no visible apparent signs of injury, but she is claiming an assault occurred, end quote. That's what the officer had to say that was on scene. Lewis was not at the apartment when police arrived, but spoke to them via telephone and met with officers a few miles from the apartment shortly thereafter. He was not arrested, but the woman did not receive any medical treatment attention for those injuries. So he'll have a pretrial hearing on April 12th. Now he's considered about as early as late second to anywhere as late fourth round draft pick in this year's NFL draft. He's expected to participate in Michigan's Pro Day on March 24th, here coming soon. Now, he doesn't have any travel restrictions as part of the bond, so he will be allowed to leave the state of Michigan, and that will allow him to participate in any draft visits and workouts. We've seen it before, so we can't rule it out, but if there's no visible signs of an assault to that woman and he's about to go and get paid, there's a lot of question marks you start throwing out there. So we'll have to see how this goes. But this definitely does, throw a huge question mark at Jordan Lewis, because you look at him from his playing standpoint, and with the league cutting down on who they allow in and what they do with players who have any charge or any investigation of domestic violence, it becomes a huge issue, and teams throw a big question mark at them. So this does definitely throw a little wrench in his plans, but definitely have time to explain all of this come Pro Day and some of his draft visits and whatnot. Now, this isn't college football news, but it is something in college related, college basketball. Now, March Madness has begun, and I made my bracket. I haven't talked about it on the show just yet. I picked Villanova to win. Let me know who you picked in the comments section. I have Villanova beating... I believe I have them beating. I think I picked UCLA. Them and UCLA. UCLA. That's. I know it's a stretch, but I'm kind of rooting for them. I hope they win it all. But I have Villanova winning it all. Now, a debate of whether to pay college athletes has obviously, we've talked about it a ton. I'm a big advocate for it. I believe college athletes should get paid at every sport. But here's something that could really push this. Now, will it happen? No, it won't. Because there's too many what about me type of things. And you got to put yourself in the situation too. Would you do it? Now, recently, ESPN analyst Jay Bilas says college basketball players have discussed boycotting the 2017 Final Four. But, and last year, in case you guys remember, this is kind of somewhat talked about last year. And it's, of course, talked about in the college football playoff in college football. Now, Bilas disagreed with all of that. He said that the players wouldn't boycott and so on and so forth. I disagree that it won't happen either. But if collegiate athletes really care about getting paid, which they should, and believe that universities are making mega millions off of them while they're struggling just to eat, they're seeing their jerseys sold, and they're not getting anything out of it. I mean, players complain they're making $20 now per month just because they wanted, recognition of them being used in a video game. And now there is no video game. We all want EA Sports to make NCAA football, but too many players complained about their likeliness, and they wanted to receive a $20 per month check. Great job, guys. But anyways, if they really want to make a statement, and they really want college athletes themselves and for the future to get paid while playing, boycotting the Final Four would definitely make a huge impact in pushing that forward. But again, it's a lot of players saying, what about me? I can't do this. So, Biles said one team he had been told had discussed a protest would shock people, though he wouldn't disclose which team, of course. This is what he had to say in a pretty long quote here. I think it's almost offensive to those that are paid and making millions to tell those that are unpaid and the engine generating millions that they are blessed with equally laughable and kind of sad. Because a boycott of the Final Four has been discussed among players and that it is not some crazy notion, that's a fact. It's a fact that's been confirmed by multiple people. It's a possibility. And I think that many have discussed, well, what would happen? What would be the results of it? And the players, it's clear. They have economic power and political power, but they're transcendent. And they're the only college, they're only in college and for a certain amount of time, and it would be a sacrifice, end quote. And it would be, because a lot of these players, you've got a small percentage of them that will go on to the NBA. And they will get a paycheck and they'll be played. And a lot of those guys are more likely to actually say, yeah, we'll boycott. Because they know there's basketball, there's a future, there's a career ahead of them. The problem is those players that won't be playing competitive basketball at any higher level, this is their last shot. So would they give it up? But you look at it and it's hard to say that you would if you were in that situation, but I would like to say, yes, I would be in favor of boycotting if I was one of those players, whether I'm off to the NBA or I'm not, because you will always go down as basically a hero. Kind of just like in war, you sacrificed yourself for hundreds of thousands of others for a right movement, for a good cause. So, Biles, he goes on to say that it'd be tough for them because, again, this could be their last competitive game that they'll play at the highest collegiate level. What would you do? Are you in favor for it? I don't think it'll happen because, again, it's what about me? Too many players are thinking about themselves and not others. This, if it did happen, it would cause dominoes to fall and all in the right spots for a huge movement in paying collegiate players. Hopefully it does happen. I know it's like, well, I want to see the Final Four. I know, I do too. I want to see a national championship, but I'd much rather see this because it's better for collegiate athletes. Let me know in the comment section. Tweet me at Short Sports Show. Become a fan on Facebook, The Short Sports Show. Today's show is sponsored by InnerGrind. Based out of Houston, Texas, let former Texas State linebacker Michael Rakpo help you reach your fitness and nutrition goals. With personal training classes that start at $40 a session, why not be a part of this rising program? And whether your goals are to lose weight, gain muscle mass, find the right off-season program, or even for you ladies out there to get that booty blast, you can do it all with InnerGrind. Not a Houston area, not a problem. InnerGrind has a program that is personalized just for you. InnerGrind has everything you need to meet your personal and healthy goals. NFL linebackers like Titans Brian Orakpo, Chiefs Derek Johnson, Buccaneers running back Charles Sims, and San Diego Chargers cornerback Craig Mager, along with many other young athletes, have already begun. Find your personalized workout and nutrition plan at InnerGrind.com and call 832-475-2829. That's InnerGrind.com, 832-475-2829. Unleash your inner grind. Moving on to the NFL, which was presented by InnerGrind. The Baltimore Ravens announced Thursday they have agreed with cornerback Brandon Carr on a 4-year contract. Now, it's really a 1-year deal with the option, a series of options to make it a 4-year deal worth $24 million. Now, Carr, he's going off to Baltimore. You have Morris Claiborne, former Dallas Cowboys, along with Carr, off to the New York Jets. You've now lost your 2 starting corners, and then you lost 2 safeties in Barry Church going to the Jaguars and J.J. Wilcox going to the Buccaneers. The secondary was already bad for the Cowboys, and now you've got nobody. You got Byron Jones, and that's about it. That's about it, and it was already bad to begin with, so the Cowboys have a lot of work to do. You definitely could see them drafting several DBs in this draft. And the good thing for them is that while it's not a deep cornerback class, I mean, there are a ton of cornerbacks, not all necessarily top elite talent, but you do have a ton of safeties. You have a ton of safeties in this draft class, probably the deepest position group out there, along with possibly the wide receivers. But Cowboys have a lot of work to get done, and if they want to make a big run, they've got to do it by restocking their secondary immediately. Now, this morning, actually late Thursday night, there's news that came out that the Oakland Raiders are strongly interested in having and somehow acquiring Marshawn Lynch, beast mode, to the Raiders. Now, of course, the Raiders, they need a running back. They lost Latavius Murray. He's off to the Minnesota Vikings. Adrian Peterson's been thrown in the mix to possibly sign with the Raiders. But now, Raiders want to bring the Oakland native back home. Now, while Marshawn Lynch is retired, he's 30 years old, he is an Oakland native, and he's still signed with the Seattle Seahawks. So he would have to come out of retirement, and either the Seahawks and the Raiders agree to trade him somehow, or they end up just releasing him. Seahawks still own the rights to Marshawn Lynch. Now, the thing is, the way this could actually happen, of course, it all depends on Marshawn Lynch saying, yes, I want to come back, which so far he's living a good life. We've all seen the clips and the crazy things he's done and the traveling and the charity and the foundations he's created and worked with. He's doing an amazing job and spending his off time, his retirement time incredibly well. Is that something you want to come back to where in 2015 it wasn't that good? He struggled. He missed 9 regular season games, missed 1 playoff game after undergoing surgery. Before that, he only missed 1 game in the 4 previous seasons. You really want to come back to something that was taking so much out of you, especially the type of runner he is. But this could be the best option for Oakland. He is younger. He's a year younger than Adrian Peterson. He hasn't taken a hit in over a year. And he didn't tear a meniscus like Adrian Peterson did. Oakland and Seattle Seahawks John Snyder, general manager over there, and Raiders general manager Reggie McKenzie, they have a long-standing relationship. They worked with each other in Green Bay. So we could actually see something happen. It's growing some momentum here that apparently there was nearly a trade last season for this, that Marshawn Lynch almost went to Oakland last year, but ultimately decided to retire. Now, some people, of course, there's sources coming out from everywhere saying, yes, he is interested in playing again and that he would only play for Oakland, or no, he's strict on not coming back. I kind of hope he does. I would love to see him. Of course, as a Chargers fan, I wouldn't want him to run all over our team, which he probably would. But I would love to see Marshawn Lynch with the Raiders, especially look at the Raiders signings that they've had. They've signed Jared Cook. EJ Manuel's not that big of a signing, but Raiders are doing a lot of great things. They're getting that defense back together. The offense has weapons now. They're going to draft even more weapons. This draft could really set the Raiders to begin that big push to putting them back at the top like they used to be. So I don't see why not. This is a perfect time. He wants to come home for 1 more year. Raiders are making a tremendous run. I would do it. I would do it if I was Marshawn Lynch. Let me know in the comment section. Tweet me at Short Sports Show if you see Marshawn Lynch coming back to playing in 2017 and playing for the Oakland Raiders. That'll be fun. That would be a whole lot of fun. Well, again, as a Chargers fan, I would not want to see that at all. Last bit of news here before we go on with our interviews with Jordan Moore and Josh Popper. Minnesota Vikings general manager Rick Spielman confirmed to reporters Thursday that running back Adrian Peterson will not be back with the team. The move seemed inevitable, of course, when the Vikings ended up signing Latavius Murray to a 3-year, $15 million deal. And I think we all kind of saw it already before that, knowing they weren't going to pay him what he wanted. And right now, Peterson, he's got to make his mind up about truly how much he's going to get paid, because he's not going to get some big deal. There's reports he was interested in the Seahawks. The Seahawks were somewhat looking at him. He visited the Seahawks earlier this week, and then they go and sign a 250-pound running back, Eddie Lacy. Because you know why? He was cheap. He was cheap. Peterson, not so much. Now, in January, Peterson said if the Vikings cut him loose, that he would see himself playing for the Texans, the Buccaneers, or the Giants. Well, neither of those teams have shown any interest back just yet. Peterson turns 32 next week, and he's just played 3 games last season because of a torn meniscus. And a pretty interesting stat out of all of this, of course, we talk about him ranking 16th in NFL history in rushing yards, and he's only second in rushing yards behind current players behind Frank Gore. But check this out. Even with the league-leading 1,400 yards he rushed for in 2015 and factoring in his receiving totals, Peterson has cost the Vikings about $18,000 per yard over the past 3 years. Imagine that. Imagine all you have to do is gain 1 yard. Each yard you gain is $18,000 for 3 years. That ain't bad at all. Ain't bad at all. But, Peterson, he's got to make his decision. He's got to talk to his agent to inform teams saying, hey, I will take a cheaper deal. Or if he really wants to get paid, just throw those incentives in there. If he really believes he's worth more than what teams are offering him right now, throw the incentives in there and work for it. Because I just don't see Peterson getting the big $8 million a year or $12 million that he's wanting, because it's just not happening for him. So we'll see. Moving on, we have interviews with Jordan Moore from UTSA, an incredible story. He has an athletic background that is just above all else. And Josh Popper as well. I'm excited for these guys. I had the opportunity to interview. I told you this month we were going to load up on interviews, and we've been blessed with several interviews. We still got a couple more in the next few shows. So check them out. I'm also writing articles, again, for SB Nation's Los Angeles Chargers blog, so go check that out over there. Links are in the description down below. I will wrap up the show with this. I will see you guys next Friday. As always, God first, God bless, and I will see y'all then. I'm out. Peace. And we have Jordan Moore with us from UTSA. Jordan, I appreciate you joining the show. How are you?
Man, I'm doing great today, man. Thank you for having me.
No problem. Now, you have a very interesting athletic timeline in your collegiate career. For those that don't know, I'll give a quick recap. You started at TCU in 2013. You transferred to LSU in 2015 and ran track, including a trip to the 2016 NCAA Outdoor Championship, and then transferred to UTSA and played your final year of football. Explain a little bit more about that and how it's prepared you for the NFL.
It's prepared me for the NFL in so many ways, man. I'm a get-up-and-go type of guy. It doesn't matter the situation, man. Anything thrown at me, man, I'm going to handle it. Being at TCU, man, it taught me a lot, man. I played 5 different positions, so I had to learn different playbooks 6 months on, 6 months off out of the year, man. And it made me a great football player. My football IQ went to a whole nother level, but it came to a point where I had to realize that, bouncing around a lot would not be beneficial for me in the long run as far as having one isolated position. I was a wide receiver, running back. Didn't play defensive back there, but that's what I was recruited for. So, I came to grips that I really wanted to be a defensive back. I transferred to LSU thinking that I was going to have to just sit out a year, run track, be able to play that following season with the Tigers. But after, my SEC championship year, which was my junior year, and right after that, went to the Olympic trials, came back. I was informed through the football compliance that I would not be able to play that following season due to the SEC rule. You have to have 2 years left to play one, and I only had 1 year. Coach Frank and I from UTSA, before he left, we formed a great relationship. Me and the players on the team were really good people. Me and Jamal Adams, man, we're like best friends. So he really, we were both sad, and man, we weren't able to play with each other, but we still train together and are great friends now. But me and Coach Frank had a great relationship, man, and, Jamal linked us back up again. Coach Frank reached out to me, and he asked me to come as soon as I graduated, and I was definitely definitely down, man, down to do that. So I left LSU after being denied my last year by the SEC commissioner, and I went to go play my last season at UTSA, man, and it worked out well, man, becoming an All-American, something that I've always wanted to do. Even though it was my first year playing defensive back since high school, man, my football IQ was through the roof. Had a great coach, man, Coach Patrick Toney, for the defensive backs, and our defensive coordinator, Coach Goldham, and a lot of the other great coaches around me, man. They helped me excel and get to the level that I wanted to be at, man. And by the last game of the season, man, I felt like a complete football player, man. That All-American charm, man, it really set it off for me. And I just want to thank Coach Frank and all of them, man, for helping me out. So that's my journey.
Right, and for my local listeners, explain about UTSA, because it was a very interesting hire with Frank Wilson being rated as one of the top recruiters in the country. What was your relationship with him like, and what do you think he's building at UTSA?
Man, I actually just got off the phone with him, man. Coach Frank's not only a coach, man, he's a great father figure to those kids, man, to those young men. He's actually building something over there. I mean, he's building a brand, man, and he has a lab over there. And I'm telling you, man, within the next 3 years, man, it's going to be a hot spot for kids to go to, man. A lot of the kids that are 4 stars and 5 stars and actually want to play out immediately and play in a system where they can have fun, man, no restrictions on them personality-wise and, just structure from the head down. That's where they're going to go, man. They're going to be one of those teams that beats the Texans and beats the TCUs and, even maybe, LSU, because they're going to get those type of players with that type of coach over there. He's a very disciplined coach. The 4-2-5 scheme that they run on defense, man, is bar none behind anybody, man. I'm telling you, they got a lot of great things going over there. Coach Paulo, the strength coach, a lot of the coordinators around him, they're building a brand, man, and breeding, man, some tremendous athletes over there. Not only just athletes, man, good educated young men. A lot of those guys are going to graduate as well, and they're going to have a lot of great prospects, man. Their linebacker core is going to be great next year. And the defensive back, they're going to be kind of young in some areas, but for the most part, UTSA is a team that you need to look out for. And this is not me just being biased. This is me knowing talent.
Right. And like you said, you were an All-American. You were all over the field for the Roadrunners. You're a very rangy defensive back. How would you describe your playing style that would be coming into the league?
My playing style, man, it's very it's unorthodox, man. You can put me anywhere. You can put me at corner. You can put me at free safety. You can put me at outside linebacker. You can even put me at DN, honestly. I'm not going to lie to you, man. I just, just my ranginess, man, strength and power, man, that I've been blessed with. There's a lot that I can do. The way the league is going now with the bigger tight ends being faster and stronger, I think they need a guy like me, to be able to be out there and deal with the receivers on the outside as well. I feel like I'm great in the run game too, and it's not me just being biased. It's just me, like, knowing what I do well. And that's something that I do well. I stop the run. And not only stop the run, I stop the pass too. So if they can put me in any situation, man, I'm not only just going to be an athlete, but a smart football player and set the guys up around me in the position that we need to be in to win.
Right. Now, how has this draft process been for you right now? What are some of the next steps you're taking, and where are you working out at?
Man, I'm working out at Michael Johnson Sports Performance Center, man. One of the best sports performance centers in the country, I feel like. Me being a track guy, man, I know technical-wise what it takes to be a top-notch athlete. A lot of football guys, man, they haven't had the luxury of, intertwining the two sports, but I have. So I know how to work out like a football player and a track guy as well, so it actually helps me training at NJT because they're very technical. On top of that, man, the draft process has been crazy, man. After my combine, regional combine down with the Saints last weekend, I've been getting calls like crazy, man. A lot of invites to a lot of teams. I have probably like 6 or 7 teams right now that I've been in deep contact with daily on a daily basis, man. A lot of teams showing a lot of interest in me, man. And I'm just forever thankful, man. Coach Frank is on my team, and they've been talking to him, a lot of GMs, and, I'm just looking forward to what the next few weeks hold, man. We got Pro Day coming up on the 28th, so that's going to be great as well.
That's definitely going to be a fun thing for you. So now, growing up, who were you a fan of? As a player, as a team, who did you look up to?
I looked up to, I really never really looked up to anybody. I just took pieces and bits and pieces of guys that I felt like were elite in a certain area of their game, and I took it and I ran with it. I really did. I do like the way that Cam Chancellor plays and his physicality. I feel like he's underrated in a lot of ways just because he's so big and can do so many things. Also, I look at, just the defensive backs, the way the Atlanta scheme is, their defense, as well as, I used to look at the Cowboys defense too when Roy Williams was back there, man. So, just the big safeties, Steve Atwater, just guys like that. Looked at them and, have tried to, I say, resemble my game after theirs, but at the same time, put it in my own way.
Right. Now, I also write for SB Nation's Chargers blogs. Now, of course, they're now the Los Angeles Chargers. And the Chargers, they're looking at some DBs. We need some DBs. We've released Brandon Flowers. In your mind, and it's fine if you haven't talked to them or if you have and you can't say, what would it be like to play with Jason Verrett and a few of the other guys, the young guys in Los Angeles?
Man, me and Jason Verrett, man, we actually are in contact with each other a good little bit, man. It's funny that you say that. Jason, man, was like a big brother to me at TCU, and he's actually helped me through this process, man. Since I left TCU, he's really kept my head on, man, and told me just to keep going. And he's really been a big inspiration to me, man, because, he's been fighting through injuries and different stuff like that, so we both just been, telling each other to keep going, and, we talk from time to time, but that would be great, man, to be able to play with him because he always wanted me to play with him on defense. So now that I actually finally could have the chance, man, I think it'd be a dynamic duo back there.
Definitely. And finally, what are teams getting from you as a player and as a guy in the locker room?
First off, in the locker room, they're getting a leader. They're getting a mental guy, a guy that actually helps guys prepare mentally to get where they need to be. They're getting a man. They don't have to worry about me off the field issues. I've never failed any drug tests, never been in any domestic violence trouble or anything like that, man. I've been a straight-laced guy, man. I'm a God-fearing guy, and I definitely make sure the guys around me, are ready and amped up to go, man. I love dancing. I love doing all of that, man. So, the guys around me, man, I'm a fun guy. And it's hard not to like me. It's hard not to love me, man. And if you don't, man, we can get down to the bottom of it, figure out what it is, and we can love each other. Everybody's not going to like you, but I'm a very respectful guy.
Definitely.
So, I definitely bring respect to the locker room, man. And they're going to get a hard worker. They're going to get a weight room warrior, and they're going to get a film room junkie. That's what they're going to get, man. I work in my craft daily. I'm an X and O type of guy. Even right now, I'm still in the playbook, still looking at different things that I can do to spark up my knowledge and coverage.
Definitely. Jordan, I appreciate your time. Best of luck in the process, and I look forward to watching your career develop.
Yes, sir, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'm here with Josh Poppert. Josh, thank you for having time for the show. How are you?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
Pretty good. Now, of course, this draft process has been crazy. What has it been like for you right now? What's going on? What's your schedule like?
Oh man, just training, grinding every day, just preparing for for camp, making sure I'm in the best shape, getting them, the good training at Michael Johnson Performance.
Right, and now you graduated after the 2015 season, had a great season, tried out for the Cardinals in 2016. What has the process been like for you, knowing, going through that experience through other workouts before? Does that give you an advantage going through them again and knowing what to expect?
I mean, yeah, I like to think so. I have an idea of what it's going to be like, trying to learn a new playbook, understanding how the teams work, how the practices might go. So I'm excited for, getting into another camp this year. Obviously sticking around this time.
Right. And you said you're working at Michael Johnson. How has that been like? Who have you been working with specifically, and what have you been focusing on more to improve on?
This year I'm switching it up on the tight end. So other than the combine numbers or the play numbers, just getting it in with the positional work. Down here they have, top guys from different, teams that are already in the NFL. So just, getting in with them, picking their brain, understanding different concepts that I didn't understand before. So I feel like I'm definitely ready to show what I can do and,
and get it in at the tight end position.
Right.
And I'm training with Coach C, Carlton. He's trying to be a practice for all the drills and everything. And then with the positional work, it's finding different guys that are already training here and taking on the players I can from them.
Right, and so now switching to position, what made you want to switch, and have you had experience playing tight end before?
I'm sorry, say that one more time?
What has it been like transitioning to becoming a tight end? What made you want to make that switch?
So, I mean, making the switch is, it wasn't anything major to me. I mean, I personally feel like I'm an athlete, and, learning the position is going to be challenging. When I was in college, I played defensive end. So, I got down to the Cardinals for the rookie team. Playing linebacker was a new position as well. So, I feel like I can learn anything. I feel like I'm a fast learner. And, being able to compare myself to guys that are already here, I feel like, I'm picking up fast, and I know I could definitely play tight end at the next level.
Right. And you grew up an Eagles fan. Who did you look up to growing up?
On the defensive side, definitely Javon Curse, number 93. I wore that number in college my first 3 years. Just the way he was hungry, his work ethic definitely caught my attention. You could see that in him on the field.
Right, and now
that's who I.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
You could go ahead.
I like to model my work ethic after him, and I feel like anything I put my mind to, I could definitely go out and achieve.
Right, now switching over to a tight end. Now I write for the Los Angeles Chargers on SB Nation. Of course, Antonio Gates is a big popular star. How his story of switching from basketball to becoming a tight end. Who have you looked up to becoming a tight end, and have you ever thought about the possibility of playing now for the Los Angeles Chargers? What that would be like, learning from him under one more year, and as well as just the whole transformation to tight end?
Oh, definitely. Like you said, with playing basketball, I also have a history of basketball. I didn't actually start playing football until my senior year of high school. I grew up, I was a basketball player. So it's funny that you bring him up. I actually have been watching a lot of film on him and seeing the way he plays, and I would love to, play for such a big organization like that, to be able to, learn from one of the greats like him, figure out, how his transition was from basketball to football. And, playing for them with a big body like that, it definitely correlates to basketball with the good footwork and, boxing up for the balls. So that would be great if I could get in with the Chargers and learn from a great like him.
And what's your schedule like going forward? Do you have any workouts planned? Is there any teams that you can say that you've talked to so far?
So I talked to a couple teams, just looking to get to my pro day and, blow the numbers out the water, do great in the positional work, and, go from there. I'm confident that, with my numbers, I'll be able to, get some looks from some teams and both, with the Chargers and go from there.
Definitely. And finally, if a team's listening out there, who are they getting from you as a player and as someone in the locker room?
I'm sorry, the phone gave up. One more time.
A team looking to draft you, select you, what are they getting from you as a player and as someone in the locker room?
They're definitely getting a quick learner, somebody that's, versatile. Obviously, with my defensive background, I feel like I can contribute a lot, even on defense or any of the special teams. With offense, I'm out here learning from great position. So definitely somebody who's willing to learn any position, learn anything, give 100%. That's always been something I've prided myself in, is being able to, do anything. I never take no for an answer. If I'm asked to do anything, I'm going to find a way to do it. And in the locker room, hopefully, I can grow to become a leader of the team. I love to help you guys out, help them understand anything that I know. definitely give back and, always open my ears and be able to listen to people who are ahead of me and take what I can and learn.
Definitely, Papa. I appreciate your time. I'm excited to watch your career progress. And after you're selected, I'd love to talk to you again.